let's move on to the last topic for this month. So the topic is how we stay passionate. So we are passionate now. We know our passions, but we know that the discipline to stay passionate, or that we need to do something in order to keep doing what we do
Right.
and be
So
connected with it.
yes, and I think that when you are feeling passionate, it's because you're still saying yes to that passion. Okay, so the quickest way to not be passionate is to say no to yourself. So to stay in alignment and say yes, that's the key. Even if it's you're just saying yes to the opportunity to one day to travel, even if it's not in your life at this moment, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start to plan for this trip, even if it's like a year out. That's taking some yes steps to like, yeah, one day this is going to be happening. I love this. Oh, this feels good, and you're like, where am I going to go? Oh yeah, I've always wanted to go to this place. And you start to take these small little action steps, right? Because again, I think that's very important, is taking action. Action engages attention, and that's when you put your attention on what you love, then you're doing, and feeling like, yeah, this is good. But here's the thing, sometimes your passions change. Remember I said that, because we're human. And the passion that you might have had to me like 10 years ago might not be the same thing as it is today, which is totally
Yeah.
fine. That's natural. I actually suggest to people that every 6 months to a year, you go through the passion test process. You can, the book that's behind me, I don't know if you can see it, that orange red book right
I
there.
can see. Yeah, yeah, we can see it.
That's the passion test book. Buy it, read it, see if you can take the passion test process by reading the book. I could not. That's just me. I'm one of those people. You need a facilitator, and I think, Dimi, your statement of writing down what people have questions about, I'm happy. You myself could help, or ask for a passion test facilitator and see
Yep.
if you can find one, because they're all around the world. And so I think getting and updating your passions, because even tweaking one word
Yep.
in your passion could make it feel like, instead of, and trying to inspire humanity, you're like, yeah, okay, that was once, that felt really good, but now it doesn't. Maybe it's you're inspiring bazillions of people, and all of a sudden you're like, wow. So the verbs or the adjectives, you're making it present. You're giving descriptive words to your passion sentence. And again, your sentence is not a long, drawn out thing. It's like 5 to 7 words, right? So you want some descriptive words, but you might need to tweak it and change it and upgrade it to how you feel today. What words make you, like, I like to use the word juicy. It's kind of like, ooh, it makes
Juicy is a
you,
great word.
ooh, yeah. And so those are the words you want to use in your passion list, and that's when you upgrade every 6 months to a year. I have um, a ongoing yearly ritual that I do with my husband. We go for 3 to 4 days away, and we take ourselves with our books and our pads and our pens, and we write down and give each other. We're both passion test facilitators, and we give each other the passion test and take each other through and kind of update ourselves. And that way we're supporting, and I know what his passions are, he knows what mine are, and we can support each other through the year. It's a beautiful thing that we do together. And it's a visioning, and we vision what we want. Once we know what our passions are, very helpful to know, so that we can then get that clarity to move forward for that year. So I love that, and that's something that I would suggest everyone do, is to to get a process. And maybe for some, it's actually, cutting out images and putting it into a vision board. That could be your way of finding out what makes you passionate. Sometimes imagery can speak very loudly to people. So that's we do vision boarding as well with the passion test, but maybe you start with the images first. So, we all have to go with what feels good for each of us.
Absolutely. And just I wanted to add on what you already said. I know actually you said it a little bit earlier in the conversation that actually one of the biggest obstacles sometimes to follow the passions and to stay passionate are some limiting beliefs. And because sometimes we get confused. Okay, we are in the process, someone is there with us, we get excited about it, we feel connected, but when we go out in the world, we are
Hmm.
again in our world with the people around us, with the
Hmm.
situations, and several weeks after, months after, you just feel okay, that doesn't feel right. But the reason for that was sometimes might be because the passion is changed, because it's a
Hmm.
different passion, but or you can need to tweak the word. But sometimes it's just there is some belief, like you shared in your case, you have around it, which can stay on the way of being totally devoted and committed to it. So it's a great question. The person who you told that he was the husband of
Yes,
right?
Randy.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah. So whatever, just ask this question. Um, what is your is there some limiting belief? What do I believe around this topic? What's my common belief which I have around it? Because uh, it, we always have something around relationships, money, career. They're like so touchy feely topics for us very often. So these are some of the reasons why we cannot be connected to it. But don't give up. Just explore and be really curious about it. I think that's one of the things which I want to say.
That's great. And I also realize that one of the things that you're kind of tapping into is that we often want to please the people around us. I don't know about you, but I'm a pleaser. And so a
Same here, yeah.
big, yeah. So, we want to be accepted, we want to be loved, blah, blah, blah. And that's a good thing. And when we give ourselves up, and this is that self abandonment piece, when we give
Mm,
ourselves up and say, well, what you're saying matters more than what I say, that's when we give up. And that's when we're giving up our passions and
yeah,
we're saying what you say matters more, we're never going to feel real peace. I mean, we might feel good up to a point, and then there's going to be that gap where we go, oh, I just didn't hit it, like I'm going through the motions again. And you absolutely deserve it because some people say, well, the passion test is kind of a selfish thing. So here's the thing I would ask you or anyone listening is that do you want to be a model for your kids, for example? Or do you want to show them how to basically give up yourself? So, do you want to be
yes.
a model of someone living their passions and loving your life, or someone who kind of says, walk over me and walk on me, and I don't deserve it? So, I really think that it's so important that we model behavior and a belief in ourselves, which is a healthy belief. This is not a selfish belief.
Yeah.
We're kind of on the extreme of thinking selfish. I'm not talking narcissistic
No.
selfishness. I'm talking about like there's a spectrum, and I'm saying come back to the center, come back to your center, and listen to yourself. Say I love you, and I love, excuse me, I love you and I love me. And when we do
Mm,
that kind of thing, then there's a reciprocity and a gift that keeps giving. And that's a beautiful thing because you're saying and you're including both and. So that's a very important piece, I think.
absolutely. Absolutely, Karin. Thank you for sharing your wisdom today. It was really, I mean, we could go in so many other directions, and I'm sure we're going to have another conversation around additional topics we opened up today.
Good.
Yeah, it's definitely that is going to happen. So you can share how people can connect with you if they want to ask some questions around your expertise about passion test and passion in general, or your work you're doing with the quantum leap.
Sure.
journals and stuff. So how they can?
They can reach me at Dr. Dr. Karin Lubin, Lubin. So drkarinlubin.com.
Okay,
There you go.
cool.
And you can just look up my name. It's there you can see it at the bottom corner on my screen. And you just look up DR or look up KarinLubin.com. Either way, you'll find me. I'm happy to answer any questions. If people are like, yeah, I want to do this, like I want to help other people find their passions, you can also go to thepassiontest.com, which is Janet Bray Atwood's page website, and that also gives a lot of information about becoming a facilitator of the process. So, and I can help with that as well. So I would just love it, Denny, if there was a question that I could ask people is, are they feeling connected, and are they feeling passionate? And if not, then they need to talk to us.
Lovely. And I think that's a great end of this conversation. A great words, people. Think about these questions, and when you feel the genuine answer in you, just act on it with clarity and with determination. Thank you, Karin, and have a lovely, lovely week. Bye.
Thank you.